Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Ahead of the Curve. It is February 7th, 2025. Bo, we've talked about a few things last week that happening in the news,
Yes.
Both nationally and in the state of Tennessee.
Yes.
Let's go back to some national stuff that's happened, man. You got to check the news every 10 minutes with Trump in office. There's something
fast.
New happening every day.
It's moving fast.
And I just saw where some judges, some liberal federal judges now are trying to stop him at every turn.
And we knew that
it all
coming.
has to do with where the money's going. They don't want that for some reason now. The left side don't want anybody tracking the money because they're afraid. It's not the fact that they're paying for transgender monkeys in Guatemala. Okay, that's not. It's the fact that they're checking where to see where the money went.
That's right.
Actually went. Okay,
that's right.
Why? Why is
well,
that, Bob?
I'd say because it in a roundabout way it came in some pockets of some people that it shouldn't have, and it has been it is a classic symptom and cause of government and mismanagement and not doing well.
But mismanagement. It takes it farther than mismanagement.
It's criminal.
This is fraud.
Yeah, it's fraud. Well, it's
embezzlement, fraud, you name it, whatever it is. We was talking
it's a
before.
lot more than mismanagement. I was trying to be a little.
No. Let's call it what it is. It's fraud.
It's fraud.
It's fraudulent theft. Yeah, they're stealing taxpayer money. Speaking of which, Zelensky says he only got a certain amount of money, and our federal government says we've sent this amount. Where's the rest of it?
That's a great question. You know, that man he could have easily lied. He could have easily said, yes, we got the money. But they don't have the money, and he can't account for the rest of it. And I believe it's somewhere like 75 million that he's got, and there's unaccounted. I think the rest is like 60 million.
He bought an island, didn't he?
I think so. But that's okay. That's okay. You know, he spent his well. Okay. It's a good investment. Real estate's booming. But anyways,
all right. Along those lines, Trump and he have had a conversation. He's demanding nukes are part of NATO, and Trump says neither one's going to happen. So I think what's going to happen is Trump is going to say, look, you're fixing to get smeared off the planet because we're not sending any more money over here. Give Russia that land right there. You go about your merry way and y'all have a decent election.
Yeah.
And if you don't, we'll come in here and we'll take it over.
That's right.
Now, we don't need to be nation building.
No.
Okay. But if we're going to protect a country like that, it don't need to be the most corrupt country in the world, which it is at the moment.
No, it is. It is. And it's the art of the deal. It's him trying to make the art of the deal. But you're right. We don't need to be in other nations' conflict or being their knight in shining armor. But if there is, true, like in World War II, when there were true humanity crises going on, I believe that makes a coalition. But you hit on NATO. You look, what has NATO done for us? We fund NATO, and NATO started out as a great thing after World War II. It's a coalition of the world, basically.
The Western
nations, world.
Yeah.
But now we fund most of it. There are wars going on. Negotiations are happening in the president's office instead of this council that wants war. Where is that? Where is NATO, and why do they even exist anymore?
Well, basically, the United States puts its foot down, and they are all snapping into place. Trump is basically calling them out again, like he did in his first term. He's going to make them pay their weight. So much percentage of their GDP to go together, and an attack on one NATO nation is attack on all. Now, that's the danger with Ukraine. You can't put them in NATO because if this next guy up starts rattling the cage of Russia and they come in, that means that we're at war with Russia.
That's right.
If we're NATO.
That's right.
So we can't do that. We have to have that buffer zone.
Right.
Ukraine's a buffer zone. Don't care how you look at it. Half of that country speaks the Russian language. So they got to come to grips with their heritage, and they got to respect Putin, and Putin has got to respect them to some degree.
That's right.
That y'all are a sovereign nation, and I think Trump will get it done within the next 6 months.
I think he will too. I think that he's that's one of his main objectives. I mean, there's been a lot of money going there. There's a lot of money that we don't know about that's there, and I believe that if we can get peace there, of course, humanity will go on as it does usually. But it would be a big win.
I want to see Elon Musk and Doge, or whatever Doge, or however you pronounce it, Department of Government Efficiency, to track the money that went to them and see how many congressmen and how many of our elected representatives in the United States ended up with the money in their pocket.
We would be probably
on fake contracts and stuff.
We would. Well, I don't think
That's treason, in my opinion.
It is, and it should be treated as that way, and prosecuted as that way, and set as an example. This is how you, for the future, you root out some of these things.
Yeah, you got to start putting your foot down so it won't happen
That's
anymore.
right.
Because the taxpayers right now, the average taxpayer in America is struggling.
Right.
Because of the inflation in the Biden years and all the nonsense. And we could talk about so much of the nonsense. This show could go for hours.
24/7 nonstop.
I know. But I'm glad to see we're now tilted in a direction of common sense.
Right.
And that's what this whole thing gets to. One thing in particular, women are no longer going to have to compete against men. He comes out with an executive order, and the left hair catches on fire.
I don't.
Why is that?
What, as a woman, do you want a man playing a game against you? No, you don't. I don't understand. It's such a kick to the women's rights that they would even want to allow a man there. It is fundamentally totally backwards, and I can't believe we've lived through a time where this has been allowed.
I know. We allowed it, Bo. We sit back and just let it happen. Well, we got Trump in office, and now he's speaking up. Those people that we've elected before just sit there and, they're worried about getting their money.
There's no more playing pretend.
I know.
Who you are is who you are. Be proud of yourself, I would say, if you're having problems. But don't change who you are. Don't play dress up every day. You're not fooling anybody.
I know. And it's insane that so many people have just gone along with the charade.
They have.
But that's over.
It is.
Or it's beginning to be over.
Yes.
Let's put it this way.
Yes. We're going to hear, unfortunately.
So Trump is in full force. We're seeing this happen. We're seeing all these fake reports on immigration.
Yes.
They're trying to scare just the general population of immigrants that are here illegally.
Yes.
They're trying to scare them to make them think that they're coming after you because you don't have your cards right. No, they're going after criminals.
Yeah. Real criminals.
Gang members, drug dealers, murderers, rapists, those that have committed violent crimes. They're going after them and they're shipping them out of here.
Yeah, let's kill the lies right now. They are not knocking at doors and checking, every single person here. They are looking for criminals that are illegal. If you are here illegally, there are ways to become a citizen and not have to go back to your country. I know cases here where we live. Look, they are scared right now though. I have friends that are Hispanic, and they're running fear because of this media sensation.
If they hadn't committed a violent crime, they don't have to worry about it. They're not coming after them. As a matter of fact, I look for the immigration reform to really push the legal path to citizenship.
Yes.
Now, some people call that amnesty, which it is. Okay, I'm saying, if you cross the border illegally, you're here. But if you've been a productive citizen,
amen,
you're here. You're part of us.
You're here.
You need to assimilate further and go about getting your paperwork done and become a U.S. citizen.
And you'll get that weight lifted off of it.
Right.
I don't like the fear mongering and the scare tactics that they're using, and I don't like them getting our youth involved and doing walkouts and stuff that. It's not called for. Look, Trump has a common sense approach to this, and he's not going in and just taking people out of their houses. Don't be scared. Be proud of who you are, but also know your rights. And if you are here illegally, then it's time to take care of it. It's kind of like a disease or an old something that's bothering you, and you finally put it off. Go take care of it. And I promise you, if you have the right people around you and the right people vouching for you, and you have been a productive citizen, you won't have to go anywhere. You can get that citizenship right here.
The law has provisions for
That's
that,
right.
obviously.
Yes.
So it's best to do it. Now it might cost some money, but what's it worth?
Exactly.
What's it worth?
Yes.
Can
It
you
is.
put a price tag on it?
It is. So yes. No.
There's a lot of people that
can't.
paid cartels to get over here, and they were beholden to them, and still some of them still are for years.
Yes.
Well, the cartels, bringing that up, they basically put out bounties on our ICE agents at the border, at our border patrol. So Trump has basically told them, we're going to eliminate you from the planet.
It's a war, and it's sad for the Latino people that come here. That's their home. They want to be there. They don't want to have to come over here.
Right.
But their country's so corrupt that they have no choice, and that's why we have been the melting pot, and we still are. but there are ways to get across, and you can't just free will across, because that brings terrorists. Look, they're starting to look at the northern border more, because people, it's wide open. Like, you can go across, no problem.
Speaking of that, the tariffs have got Canada to come to the table.
Yes,
they got Mexico to come to. Mexico's put 10,000 troops
it
up on the border.
Yes.
All right, I think those 10,000 troops should start going right after the cartels. And we've got as many cartel leaders or dictators, or whatever you want to call them, heads of different sects. They're in our country.
Yes, they are.
In the large cities. And you're seeing some of those getting shipped back home.
Yes, they know how to move back and forth, and it is a war there. I mean, these soldiers are dying in these wars. These are battles, and it's all for the mighty dollar for these cartels. And drug trafficking, sex trafficking, and illegal immigration trafficking.
Yeah, I can't. It's inhumane what they do, and that's why they've got to be treated that way.
That's right.
To root them out.
You have to.
It's sad. It's sad that humanity gets in that position.
It does. But it's where they are, and I just feel. Since the election and since Trump's taken office, I feel like he's moving pretty quick. He's moving real quick, too fast for some people, and that can get people a little uncomfortable, especially with this Elon deal. Now the media is trying to show him as he's taking over Washington. Stuff. Right. Chill out. He's not. He's in his place. He's doing his thing.
He's not there for the money. Okay.
No.
He can buy the place.
No,
if
exactly.
He wants it. All right. Exactly. So those people that are throwing that out there, well, that's just a lie.
Yeah.
You just can't listen to that.
And they've recognized the conflicts of interest that could arise. And Trump says if there is even looks like a conflict of interest, he's off the case. Look, that's how you do things. You have to.
Well, I'm excited to see how all this unfolds, and I hope and I pray that he takes the right steps. I am not for us going into the Gaza Strip and turning it into a resort or whatever.
The war that always has been. Yeah, it's a beautiful land, but unfortunately that war there,
it could be turned into that, but those people have to do that.
That's
and
right.
Want that.
That's right.
We can't do it for them, because if we build it for them and they don't want that, they're going to tear it up.
It's the old adage, lead a horse to water and make it drink. If you tried to clean up and say, here you go, they'd blow it up.
They're going to blow it up again. So I vary from Trump on that one. He has high hopes. But
Me too. And
I don't think it should be our taxpayer money.
I get what he's saying, but no, I do not think that we ought to do that.
All right. On a local level, we talked about the vouchers last week.
Yep.
And I'm going to pull that back up just a little bit and talk about how Trump came out and bragged on Tennessee for doing it. And what I think happened is he didn't read it.
No.
Okay. And he don't realize that 75% of conservatives are against it.
Right.
And they talk about it being a conservative move, and it's really not the way ours is written. But yet 75% of our elected officials voted for it. And 75% of your people out on the street are against it. So there's such a disconnect between the common everyday man, the taxpayer, and those people that are put in position by those that are hired by the elected. They're elected through our election process. We're basically hiring them by electing them, and they're totally ignoring the public.
What I've seen in those numbers say that 75%, those are the people that have looked at it. The people that are for it are the people that have not looked at it. So it tells me a lot that the people that have looked at it, that 75% of, say, my type of thinking conservative colleagues are against this. And when I've questioned others that are for it, they don't know what's in it. So it's really eye-opening to a process where this thing has been sugar-coated over. It has been, and it's been thrown in most faces. If you're listening to the radio or the TV news, it's all, this is a great school choice and everything. But there's so much in there.
Over $22,000, I think it's $22,000. It's going to be spent for every child that takes this voucher. Then the voucher's only $7,000. How can you do that? Only government can do that.
And exactly. Only government can do that.
All right. So all these Republicans and so-called conservatives that voted for this are obviously not paying attention to what their constituents want. And that gets down to the ones that represent us here in Bedford County. Okay. I'll look at the two men that we have to represent us. Would it have done any good for us to knock on their door and said, vote no against this? No, they were set in stone, going to do it one way or another.
Yes.
So These representatives have to be replaced by
Yeah.
true representatives.
They're not thinking for themselves, really. They're kind of in the old, just going through the steps.
Well,
deal.
their thought is, I'm smarter than everybody else. I'm smarter than all the people that I represent, and I don't care what y'all think.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's basically, that means you need to be fired and replaced.
And we know that because we know how they're going to vote every time, and they do that. They don't. The ones we have, they're not loud, they're not vocal, they're not. Not saying that you have to be, but sometimes you got to say no to something and stand up for it.
Right.
And we don't hear that there. Unfortunately, there's the details haven't been let out, and it's a limited number of kids.
20,000.
20,000.
Yeah.
Look, the Board of Education. It needs to. It's another thing that probably needs to go. Let the states have their school systems. Let them thrive.
You're talking about the Department of Education.
I'm sorry. Yes.
Well, yeah. Trump's got that on the chopping block.
Yes, I know he does, and he's got a good. If you look at, he's got a good reasoning for that. If you look at countries like Finland and Denmark, and these states have flourished because the government is not in there.
But who do you trust? The Bedford County Board of Education or the federal government? Who do you trust? That's a no-brainer. Yes. I trust the Bedford County Board of Education,
who I can see.
All right, I trust the state of Tennessee less than the Bedford County Board of Education, but more than the federal bureaucracy.
Yes.
Okay, Tennessee has its own bureaucracy. It's a little smaller, and it costs us a lot of money to do that. But I think if a taxpayer can get more of their money to the student that's trying to learn, and our money gets more directly involved there rather than going through all these bureaucracies and the filters and the powers that be, that where it gets diluted out, the more we can eliminate, the better. The quicker we can get the money to the ground, to the people, to the kids, and to our system here locally. I'm for eliminating until we get it.
Me too, and I wish they would. That would be a way to do it. Let the states do it. There would be some that would thrive so much. There would be some that wouldn't.
We got enough people in our system that they'll know what to do with the money. Dr. Garrett, the Board of Education, our administration. We've got smarter people right here than anybody in Tennessee, and definitely anybody in Washington D.C.
Our local ones here, I'm sure a lot of times they feel like they've got strings attached because they want to do so much. But these strings that the federal government is
exactly, and our teachers could make more money if we could eliminate some of this garbage that separates us from getting that money directly to them and our students.
I think it's a long shot as of today, but it's something that needs to be thought about, that people need to really think about. Because I agree with it.
I really think the Department of Education's gone to a degree. I think the bureaucracy is going to go, and there might be. I don't know why you would have to send your money to Washington, let them take part of it, and then them send it back to you.
Yeah,
it sounds like the mob to me.
Yeah, kind of like a protection scheme.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's the same thing with Tennessee. I mean, I know we get a lot of funding from Tennessee through the sales tax, but how about you just let us keep it here and not send it up there? Just keep it here and let's use it.
Well, or maybe they'll let you keep it, but you can't touch it.
That's just too much common sense. But anyway,
too much. That's overload.
That's another story. But locally, within Bedford County, we've got a lot of stuff going on.
Yes, we do.
Things are fixing to pick up from the standpoint of our county commissioners and our city council and all the different things that we've got to face. We've got issues with wastewater coming up.
Yes, we do.
With the county, and then we've got it seems like everything's focused on waste right now. Then we've got the transfer station here in the city that's come up and will probably get approved here.
Probably so.
And that's something that Josh and I talked about a couple of times on the weekend wrap up. This transfer station is going to save the city of Shelbyville some money, and people are concerned about all that trash coming to one junction point. As long as it don't stay here, I'm fine with it, personally. But we got to do something with our trash.
We do, and I think it's ended up being a better idea than first thought. And actually, Josh, our two newest city council members took a field trip to Manchester to see
one
how it is in action, and they were I guess you could say pleased with how that operation is ran, and it's not fully closed. It has one section open, so I believe that it would be. It looks like that it's going to come through here pretty soon. Now we do have some developments coming up in the city. The Swing Estates I call it swing estates, but out on
Remington Farms.
It has been put off for up to 90 days to come back before the Planning Commission. And there's a lot of building going on here, and it's still a hot market right here. The real estate market's really stayed. It's plateaued and stayed there. It's really not coming down a lot, and you're still not seeing a lot of foreclosures.
Well, I don't know exactly what will happen in the next 6 months to 18 months down the road, but it's going to be interesting to see if that trend continues. I know we have a lot of farmland here, a lot of open space, and it seems like people are escaping the city to this area for lots of reasons, cost of living being one. But if our home prices keep escalating, I think they've leveled off right now, hadn't they?
Yes,
If you do this, if they were to take a spike, I think that would curb it.
Yes.
I think it would send people, wait a minute, I can't do that.
Yeah, and right now, if you're entering the home market, it's hard. It's a high market. You start in at $300,000, $250,000. There is some relief that needs to happen, but the growth here is so much. So we've got a lot of growth happening in this area.
Population growth.
The
population is increasing.
The population is increasing. Our industry is not. Although we did open up our new a chemical plant of Duxon,
right?
And
the acid factory.
They had the acid factory, I tried to get a sample of it from the, but they didn't. No sample.
And here's a question I had for Josh: how many Bedford Countyans are working there at the moment?
Yes, I'd like to know that too. I know that maybe he can provide those answers. But look, it is an industry here nonetheless. But I want more. I wish we could be more growth, more economically grown, and that's not where we are at the moment.
Well, honestly, we all of our talent leaves town.
Yeah,
I mean,
it does.
The people that go out and get a college degree that could possibly be in a tech situation, they're all leaving. Yeah. But fortunately, with our new school, Tennessee College of Applied Technologies out there, TCAT.
It looks nice too.
It looks good, and I think that's gonna change our dynamic with our workforce over the next few years as people start going there and getting a trade, getting taught a trade.
Yes, I
think that will help us as far as bringing industry in, because we have a workforce that can actually.
That's right.
Man these businesses.
It definitely benefit Bedford County in the long run more than probably the airport, the MTSU. Now that'll affect it with students, but I don't see us.
We're not going to
live here.
No, we're not going to have an international airport. Or a commercial airport where there's a lot of packages being delivered and a lot of travelers coming in and out. That's Nashville.
These are broke college
Nashville
kids.
And Huntsville. Okay, they're going to go there.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, these people that are coming here to go to school, they're not going to lay. I'm not going to say that. They might just say, "How I like it down here. I'm going to live here, and I'm going to drive to Nashville."
But when they're here
out of Nashville,
but when they're there at the time of school, they're broke college kids most of them.
Right. Yeah.
So that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, well, that's going.
That's going on. There's several other things.
Of course, we've talked about all the coffee shops that are coming to town.
Yeah, the city brings those. They make.
Yeah, they make them. They're the ones that are putting the money out.
Let's get that out of the way again. The city doesn't make those decisions.
No. But Bo, it's going to be interesting to see how things carry out here in Bedford County.
Yeah, things are going.
2025.
Yeah.
We look forward to seeing what's happening at the state level, and of course, all eyes are on Trump.
Yeah, all eyes are on Trump, and rightfully so, because he's in his office and he's doing his thing.
Yeah, well, guys, thanks for watching, Bo. Yep. It's been fun talking.
It's been fun. We'll do
be
it again
next week, same time, same place.
Yes, sir.